I think for me, the biggest disappointment is Dan Campbell so far.
That's a good answer.
It's an obvious answer. Like, there were some really good answers here, like Amani Oruwariye, right? Charles
Yep.
Harris. I think that was Matt for both. Oops. Aiden Hutchinson. Those guys have been disappointing, but you've got a coach that has potentially cost you 2 wins so far.
Yep.
And as a coach, you wanna put your players in the best position to win, and going for it on 4th down, 4th and 9 with a kicker in your pocket that was good in Chicago when they had him.
Yep.
I mean, a 6-3 game looks a lot different than a 13-0 game,
It does. You
than a
can live with that.
16-0 game. Yeah,
You
I
can
think it was actually 9-0 when I kept saying 6-0, but I think it was 9-0 at that point in the game.
yeah.
They
And
go
it, but
for it on 4th and 9, and then it's
right.
16 to yeah. So, I think that I don't know. I think that the most disappointing line to me so far has been Dan Campbell.
He's the
Because and here's the thing, I love grit.
yeah.
I'm sick of hearing about grit.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, I even got the hat when I went to the game because I like the hat. Because I like grit. Like, I want to be a gritty individual in my life. I love the message. But
Mhm.
I will go back to what I said the very first week when they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Grit does not win you football games.
No.
And there will be no participation trophies handed out.
No.
So preach grit, cheerlead, rah-rah all you want, talk about biting kneecaps and we'll tread water until we bury you kind of thing. Like, I get it. Like, that's motivating. That's awesome, right? Kabinda's
Mhm.
got his eyes going like this because he's all ready to go in the meeting. But I'm a very firm believer that talk is just talk until you put some walk to it.
Absolutely.
And there ain't no walk going on right now.
No. And
No
he's
walk at
he's
all.
and he's the face of the team too. Like if you think about what everybody has talked about in terms of what they were so excited for, it wasn't Jared Goff, even though he's playing good now, but Dan Campbell's the face of the team. So he's the one again. You can have all the grit in the world. You can have all the grit in the world on the sideline, but when you go in the game and you trip on the field because you didn't tie your shoes and you blow yourself in the foot from not being prepared, all that grit does not matter. And that's what they're doing. You're beating yourself and you're sacrificing all that grit. And it's coming at the expense of a young team. You're
Mhm.
losing the locker room like this. And that's not, I don't think that's a stretch to say. I've never been in the NFL locker room, I never played, but the voice of your coach that is
There's
costing
reality
you
to it,
game
though.
with bad decisions
Yep.
absolutely has to be reality to it. No
100%.
question.
And so that goes into then with him being my disappointment. And there was a comment here, right here from Charles. I want to make sure that we get this up there because we've talked about injuries a little bit, but let's address it a little bit more because there's a lot of fans that are concerned about injuries. On the injuries page, is it strength and conditioning? Who's responsible for looking into that? Or is it the grasping for straws? Players are consistently getting injured, like the Tigers at the end of the season. What is your take on the injuries? I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours first.
I don't, I can't speak to if it's strength and conditioning because it feels like a lot of them are like freak accident type things. So to
Yeah.
say if it's strength and
Savion Smith
conditioning,
being the biggest, it's the scariest thing to me
yes,
because it was the weirdest thing to me.
yes,
All he did was literally engage with Hunter Henry and then fall over.
and then just fall
No
over.
lowering
Yep.
the head, nothing like it was. But continue. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off.
No. Yeah, you were making a good point. Like it's just a lot of things that we're seeing you can't necessarily prepare for sometimes. Like the NFL is a very violent game. Guys are trying to adjust to how to tackle. Like guys are bigger, stronger, faster at this point in terms of evolution of NFL players. I don't know if I can necessarily pin this to like the strength and conditioning coach. It is a worry. I don't know how
It
players can
is.
just watch that and then get right back on the field and play, but it's a violent sport and it's hard to pin necessarily to me at least what it's really coming down to. What would you
Well,
say it
we
is?
had that twice this weekend. 'Cause Mike Hart
True.
collapsed on the sideline of Michigan,
Yes. That was
which,
scary.
according to all accounts, he's doing well too. So, like, we send our thoughts and prayers and best wishes to
Absolutely.
both of them,
For sure.
Savion Smith and Mike Hart. But for me, one of the big emphasis during Hard Knocks was how hard they were going. Full
Mm,
padded practices, full contact.
yeah.
But
Which is
then,
rare in the NFL now. Yeah.
but then, how many of your offensive starters started in the preseason and played and got acclimated to game speed? Not many.
Not many. Yeah.
And Jared Goff maybe had 3 drives the entire preseason.
True.
And I can't really say as far as the defense goes, like snap counts on the defense during preseason, but it's very hard to replicate game speed in practice.
Exactly.
And regardless of how hard you went during preseason, if you're not getting these guys prepared for the NFL speed, you're putting
Hmm.
them in compromising positions.
That's
Not to
true.
mention the fact that you also went hard and risked injury the entire preseason
True.
in practice. And there's wear and tear that happens on the body. So I don't know if it's a strength and I doubt it's a strength and conditioning thing because all these teams have top level strength and conditioning programs.